Round two of the NHL playoffs is where things stop being theoretical, if you will, and they start getting real. The Buffalo Sabres, Montreal Canadiens, are now in a battle between structure and speed. If Buffalo controls pace, they win. If Montreal turns it into chaos, everything flips. Carolina just exposed Philadelphia in game one with relentless pressure, and the Flyers already admitted they couldn't handle the speed. Out west, Vegas looks like a team hitting its stride again, while Anaheim brings the highest scoring offense left in the playoffs. And Colorado, still built like a powerhouse that can tilt a series in minutes. Round two isn't about who looks better on paper. It's about who can survive when their identity gets challenged shift after shift. Because in the NHL playoffs, comfort disappears fast. NHL playoffs are no longer about potential. This is now about reality. First round of the Stanley Cup playoffs has already reshaped expectations, eliminated doubts, and set up matchups where reputations are on the line. And now we've hit the point where one truth becomes clear. Regular season trends don't win series anymore. Execution does. So let's break down round two through the lens that actually matters: matchups, adjustments, and who can survive when their identity gets tested. Before we do that, Frank, what was your biggest takeaway from round one?
I saw a lot of very, very good teams playing a lot of very, very good hockey. Carolina, still a perfect 5-0 after their game one win so far this postseason. Buffalo was able to handle Boston very, very nicely. What Montreal did in game seven of their series last night, as we record this on Monday, winning that game against Tampa Bay with only 9 shots on net, they are going to be a very, very tough test for the Buffalo Sabres, which is where our first stop is going to be.
And let's talk about it, Frank. Buffalo Sabres, Montreal Canadiens, Eastern Conference Series. Buffalo Sabres finally look like a team that believes it belongs here. They just broke through with a strong first-round win driven by balanced scoring and elite goaltending from Alex Lyon, stepping into a true playoff role. But now comes a very difficult challenge, as Montreal, Frank, is very fast.
Yeah, the Canadiens are fast. They're structured and extremely dangerous in transition. Nick Suzuki and Lane Hutson have been driving play at an elite level. And this series is going to come down to one question: can Buffalo puck move defense survive? Can Buffalo's puck moving defense, there are the words, survive Montreal's speed game? Because if it turns into a track meet, Montreal has the edge. But if Buffalo controls the tempo and protects their leads, their depth gives them a real advantage. It's not a comfortable series for either side, and especially talking about Montreal's ability to turn it into a track meet. They've got one of the fastest skaters to ever do it, Marty St. Louis, on their bench, so that he knows how to get it done as far as speed is concerned.
Eastern Conference semifinal on the other side, Flyers and Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes just did what they always do. They suffocated a team out of rhythm in game one over the weekend, and that is the problem for the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia already saw what Carolina does: relentless forecheck, puck pressure, and wave after wave of zone time. And in game one, they simply couldn't handle it. The Flyers admitted it themselves. They weren't fast enough, they weren't sharp enough, and didn't win enough battles. So the adjustment becomes simple. Can Philly slow the game down even slightly? And if not, Carolina dictates everything. And when Carolina dictates play, they usually dictate series outcomes too. Your thoughts on the Hurricanes and the Flyers this series?
Hurricanes are a better team. Flyers right now are in the position of playing with house money. They were not supposed to be this deep into their rebuild just yet, coming off a big series win against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're in over their depth right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a game, possibly 2, out of this series, but I would very much expect the Carolina Hurricanes to come through and win this series.
Let's move over to the Western Conference. The Western Conference semifinals. It's the Vegas Golden Knights and the Anaheim Ducks. The Golden Knights are starting to look like a team hitting playoff form at the right time. Again, they just went through a tough, structured first-round opponent and learned how to defend rush-heavy teams better as the series progressed against the Utah Mammoth. And now they get a very different challenge in the Anaheim Ducks, a team that leads the playoffs in scoring and thrives in high-event hockey. Anaheim is fast, skilled, dangerous off the rush, and incredibly young. But Vegas has the edge in something Anaheim hasn't proven yet, and that's playoff control in tight games. If the series opens up, Anaheim can absolutely steal games, but if it tightens late, Vegas has the edge in execution, structure, and closing ability. But the Ducks, well coached, and just beat a team that has represented the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals the last 2 years as they outlasted Edmonton in 6 games. This is a Ducks team that's scary, Frank, because they're young and they don't know any better. And guess who's in charge? Joel Quenneville, who has done it before with the Blackhawks.
Yep, and has won Stanley Cups as well. So I give Vegas the edge. I think this is possibly going to be a 6, maybe even a 7-game series. Definitely 6. I think Vegas will come out on top of this one. But again, the Ducks, same way as the Flyers, they're a lot deeper into the playoffs for this stage of their rebuild. They are also playing with a lot of house money right now. And funny how you're playing with house money in Vegas now.
We'll see how that game goes. Game 1 will be on Monday. Avalanche and Wild already got started. 9-6 winner for Colorado. Goals were flying off the shelves in this one.
Street lights are going out. Mom said last goal wins.
Yeah, that's right. Colorado Avalanche are built for this moment. Even when they're not perfect, their top-end talent forces opponents into mistakes, and now they're getting healthier and more balanced at center ice. They have been the favorite all playoff long. Mm-hmm. I don't think this really changes against the Wild. Are they the behemoth that everybody says they are, or do they have a vulnerability?
Every team has that vulnerability, and I think it has nothing to do with the Colorado Avalanche as a team. I think it has more to do with the perception of the President's Trophy. President's Trophy winners have not fared well in the NHL over the last decade or so, last 20 years, as far as their depth in playoff runs. So I wouldn't be more concerned about the Avs as a team more so than that President's Trophy that they won this year.
Big picture takeaway for round 2. If there is a theme, it would look something like this. Carolina tests structure, Vegas tests discipline, Colorado tests depth, and Buffalo tests composure under speed. And the teams that survive aren't necessarily the best teams on paper. They're the ones who don't break when their game stops working for 5 straight minutes. And that's when a series can flip. And that is why the NHL playoffs are so fun to watch as we are entering round 2.